Well, I'm back at the ill-fated corner. Today I want to explore different routes that can lead you to the place where they found the beanie. But let's get oriented first. Hiker A and Monica, presumably, both came down here. Hiker A said, we gotta go this way. Monica, according to the official story, was either 30 feet behind him or 30 yards behind him, which would put her, somewhere up by that boulder there. And then hiker A went that way. Waited 5 minutes. Monica never showed up, and she hasn't been seen since. Well, that's the official story. Well, if you've watched my videos, I don't buy into that. I think there are a number of possibilities. Hiker A was much further ahead than 30 feet or 30 yards, which would put Monica, way up there out of sight by the time he got to this corner. But that's one way the story could vary. Another way is that she never even made it to this corner and went off trail further up, and I'm going to explore those possibilities in a bit. But right now I'm going to talk a little bit more about what she could have done, might have done, if she had actually made it to this corner, missed it, and kept going straight. Now, of course, these logs weren't here back then. They were added later to help people guide themselves around the corner so they wouldn't miss it. Anyway, so I've missed the corner. I'm coming down this way, and this is what I see. That's, if you watched, part 2, and I was speculating, did she go around this boulder for a potty break? That's the boulder right there. This is really the beginning of what people are calling the Beanie ravine. Kind of goes down that way and then down that way. But it requires first coming down this way. However you get into the Beanie ravine, you got to come this way. And then you got to turn left. Or go straight. I guess if you are just letting gravity guide your route, you would just go straight downhill. But I always question that choice, because as you're coming down, you're going to see this open space over here. And that, in my mind, is a much more appealing direction to go. And that's the direction I went in my most recent ambient video titled Into the Beanie Ravine, or Down into the Beanie Ravine, something like that. So you can look that up. In that video, I went down to this open space, and then there's a pile of boulders, and I turned left at that pile of boulders, and then there's a tree that's leaning up against the pile of boulders. I turned right past that leaning tree. That puts you behind this tall pile of boulders. You can't see because the tree's in the way. And then that leads to an open, kind of somewhat steep slope, but it's open. And so I went down that way in that video. In this video, I'm going to go let gravity be my guide. Take me directly down into the Beanie ravine, a little ways. I'm not going to go too far in this path because I want to explore other paths. But I'm going to go let gravity be my guide and see what I can see. Before we get too far, I just want to point out some landmarks. So when we're looking around, dang, right into the sea. So I like to use this spiky tree trunk as a marker for where the corner is, because the ill-fated corner is just over here. It's already out of view. You can just kind of barely see some of the logs people have put into place to mark the corner. But as I'm roaming around, I like to say, okay, well, I know the corner's by this spiky tree trunk. And let's see, are there any other landmarks? There's kind of a landmark. There's a burnt stump, maybe 6 or 7 feet tall. It's kind of dark on one side, light on the other. And this is come around here. So there's a kind of a distinctive tree, dead tree. That's a completely dead tree. And then you got a half dead tree right here. As I'm roaming around up in this area, which I will be doing later, I will look for these landmarks so I can point them out and say, oh, so we're here, and the corner's over there, and stuff like that. All right, so landmarks. That's our landmarks. Here, let's start letting gravity be my guide. Not going to be too difficult to let gravity be my guide because it certainly wants to pull me this way. One of the problems I have with missing the corner and coming down into the Beanie ravine is that it requires that you make what to me are nonsensical choices. First of all, I mean, I'm already doing something I wish I didn't have to do, and that's come down this steep bit here that's just beyond the corner. I don't remember exactly doing this coming up the hill. I mean, I certainly came up steep sections, but the steep sections I came up were all on a trail. That was not a trail. You know, I haven't really gone that far. There's the spiky tree trunk. I just came down this steep section here. Getting closer to the open area that is much more appealing. If you do go that area, you eventually connect with the West Ridge Use Trail, which continues. Kind of see that slanted rock there? Just go to the left of that slanted rock, and that's West Ridge Use Trail. And if they hadn't found the Beanie somewhere down there, everybody would have assumed Monica had gone that way, just because of the difficulty and the unappealing nature of this path. But they did find the Beanie down there, so that's what people are saying she did. Anyways, let's keep going down this way, letting gravity be our guide. If you watched my part 2 video, towards the end, when I was talking about the boulder she may have gone behind for a potty break, I then said, well, if she came out from around the boulder and was disoriented, she may have come this way. And so I came this way in that video, and I kind of used the principle of least resistance in route finding. You know, I said, oh, maybe she came down this way, but then when she encountered difficulties, she kept veering off this way to look for an easier path down. Oh, speaking of, I should finish this thought. So she kept going this way, and she eventually ended up in the same spot I did in my most recent ambient video, and I speculated maybe she went down there because that's in the general direction of the Beanie area. When I did that ambient video, I actually veered a bit too far west, so I had to angle east, backtrack a little bit as I was heading down to reach the Beanie area. So maybe going that way isn't the way she went, because, you know, they found her Beanie more this way, not quite so far that way. Since we're looking this way, let me show you some of the landmarks. So this is the boulder pile that you need to turn left at if you want to go this direction. And there's the tree that's leaning against the boulder pile. That's sort of a landmark if you want to experiment with, where's my pointer? If you want to experiment going around there. There's a gap between some boulders here. You can just curl around the boulder pile where that leaning tree is, and then you'll be at the top of that open but steep slopey area. Anyways, but that's not what we're going to do today. We're going to continue to let gravity be our guide and go straight this way and see what we can see. My hope is I don't have to go very far down in this direction before I can see the big vertical boulder where they found Monica's Beanie. I mean, they didn't find it right at the foot of the boulder. They found it within, I don't know, 20 feet of the boulder. But it's a nice landmark for figuring out where you are on the hillside. So I want to see how far I need to go down this way before I can see that boulder. And we're already seeing other boulders. This is a nice little landmark too. I'm coming down from here at some other point in the video. Maybe I will spot this guy and know, oh, I was here before. So yeah, we're reaching the guts of the upper part of the Beanie ravine. You can see people have come through here, and animals. I can see disturbed ground. Other people, yeah, because it doesn't rain that often up here. Disturbed ground will remain disturbed for quite a while. It's only when it rains that stuff will get washed away. Anyways, I'm going to stop filming while I navigate this little spot right here. All right. So, did Monica come this way? It's doable. It's not particularly dangerous yet. Gotta have a little bit of a balance. But she did lots of yoga, which I assume afforded her some good balance. As a result, I'm gonna scoot this way. Monica, in all the pictures that I've seen of her online, she didn't seem to use hiking poles, so she did all this scrambling around without hiking poles, which, some people like hiking poles, some don't. Let's see how far we've come so far. And we see anything, and we're kind of pointing into the sun. Really haven't come that far, maybe 150 yards from the corner. She's also only 4'11". I'm about 6 feet with shoes on. And I got a hiking pole, at least one for balance while I'm filming. Anyway, so here we are. We are entering a field of boulders, which represents the guts of the ravine. I don't see the Beanie boulder yet, but I've never approached it from this angle, so I'm not quite sure. It could be that thing right over there. All right, anyways, I'm going to just keep picking my way down through these boulders to see what I can see. Yeah, make sure I keep an eye out for rattlesnakes. I've yet to see a rattlesnake this high up in the Angeles forest, but there's a lot of rattlesnakes being seen and a lot of rattlesnake bites being reported this year for some reason, maybe because of the unusually warm weather, early warm weather. So you got to keep an eye out for rattlesnakes. Man, rough going. Why would anybody go this way if they didn't have a purpose, like I do, in trying to find a specific spot? I would never go this way thinking, oh, maybe this is the right way to get back to the trail. I would think, oh, I'm lost and I don't know where to go. And if I was standing right here thinking, oh, I'm lost, I don't know where to go, I'd look around and I'd see this flat open space and I'd head for that. I wouldn't keep going down these pile of boulders. But that's the way you got to go to get to the Beanie area. So allegedly, that's the direction she went. All right, kind of zigzagging my way down the boulder pile, boulder ravines. Didn't think I would go this far down, but I'm not seeing what I want to see yet. So I'm going to keep going until I see what I want to see. So far, if you choose wisely, you will be able to find a relatively safe path. Again, like I said before, you got to expect some flipping and sliding. Use your balance. While I'm here, I'd like to point out what others have said, that there are lots of little crevices and cracks that a person could fall in. A small person like Monica could fall down into and never be seen unless someone's looking from just at the right angle. Let's come back uphill slightly, show you some more. You know, like under there, like under this boulder here. Holding the camera upside down. I mean, of course, I'm above the Beanie area, so she presumably went past this area. But you're going to have cracks and crevices just like this further on down. Definitely wouldn't want to slip and fall, slide into something like that. As I slip and slide towards the crack, I'm going to jump up onto the boulder and look over here. What can I see from here? There's a sort of a path a person could take. If they'd come down from that direction, they would have ended up kind of dead ending at these shrubs here. But they could have gone around. I'm going to go this way and keep working my way down. All right, let's cut through this little spot here. Nah, I'm going to cut through this spot here. You know what? I'm in boulder territory. I think I'm going to put my helmet on, so if I do take a tumble, we'll have at least protected my head. Let's do that. We have a nice, easy spot to do it. All right, helmet on. Let's head a little bit further downhill before turning around and exploring other routes. You can see this disturbed ground. You can tell other people came this way. Searchers. It could also be an animal trail. I think I'm getting almost level with the Beanie Rock. I may have come down far enough that all I need to do is cut over, which is a little bit further than I wanted to go. But maybe I'm there. Let's check GPS coordinates. Let's head right over here to get a little bit better view. Now let's go around these twigs. Oh, you know what? This tree is a very convenient landmark. It's a very tall, dead tree. If I come down from over here later, I can see this tree from quite a ways away and know where I am relative to this particular route that I'm on right now. Okay. All right, I want to get to 34.34086 on the north-south dimension, and on the east-west dimension, -117, 95, 67. And where am I? I'm at 3413, so I'm still a little bit too far north. I would need to head further on down. And of course, I am still too far east. It's 95.58. Where do I want to get? 95.67. So yeah, I need to go for sure a little bit more south. I'm not there on the east-west dimensions yet either. So this area right here, I was speculating, that is not the boulder. Or is it? Yeah, that's not the boulder. Now that I'm seeing it from this angle, I can tell. It's going to be further down that way. Well, I don't want to go any further this direction because I want to go back up the hill and come down from where are the trees in the way, from that other area, and reach the boulder, that the Beanie boulder, as I call it. So heading back up. I'm part of the way back up towards the elevated corner, I just want to point out this tall dead tree I was right next to. That's a very good landmark. I gotta keep heading up this way. I can't. Oh, and there is the spiky tree. That's near the ill-fated corner. Ill-fated corner is actually right here. So from the ill-fated corner to that tree is that far. And let's keep going up. All right, back to the ill-fated corner. I don't know if I can see that tall burnt tree from here. Too many other things are obscuring it. Can't see it. Anyway, there is the corner. There's the spiky thing, spiky tree. I'm going to head up this way, which is east, in the direction of the summit, which is another mile away, that direction. And I'm going to look for other right-hand turns that Monica may have missed, and see what it would look like if she went straight from those spots. All right, here's the first alternate right turn. You may recognize this from my part 1 video. I was, after reaching the summit and coming back down, I approached this right-hand turn and said, well, here's a possible right-hand turn that she missed. You were supposed to go this way, but maybe she went straight. And then I went straight, and I said, oh, she wouldn't go this way because the ground changes. It feels completely different. Doesn't feel trail-like at all. And I said, oh, she'd realize that right away and, turn around, see the trail, and get back on the trail. But let's see what you see if you do go this way. So let's go this way. We're not actually very far from the ill-fated corner. And to prove that, there is the spiky tree trunk. We're really just slightly above it and to the south. If I come over this way a little bit, I bet you can see the ill-fated corner. So, well, you got to know exactly where to look, but it's basically right there. So I'll point out the other landmarks. So the ill-fated corner is right down there. And there's the spiky fallen tree that I was telling you about. And there's that busted off tree trunk. From the other angle was dark on one side and lit on the other. Now it's, all red woody with spiky at the top. So what we're looking at, this right here is the boulder that I said Monica, or speculated, wondered if Monica went behind to take a bathroom break. So, yeah, ill-fated corner right over there. So we really haven't come very far. This corner right here is just maybe 100 yards, not as the crow flies, but as the hiker walks up the trail from the ill-fated corner. So we really haven't gone far. And this is the top of the Beanie Ravine. Oh, not pointing at it. Top of the Beanie Ravine. And when I left the ill-fated corner, I basically went down this way and entered the boulder area right around in there. So yeah, we haven't gone very far. So if she did go this way, she would, let me zoom out. She would have come down just slightly to the south of the ill-fated corner and ended up in the same ravine, and going down the ravine the same general direction if she had gone directly down the ravine and didn't veer into the saddle area, which would be over that way. So there's nothing new to be learned here. So my next stop, it will have me further up the trail and coming down that way as a more interesting, to me, interesting approach to the Beanie Ravine. Anyways, let's get further back up the trail. I'm going to keep going up this way. I'm going to get all the way to the top of the ridge, a part of the way towards where the last picture was taken, and see if there is a interesting right-hand turn in the trail that she could have missed that would have sent her into the Beanie Ravine without having to do any kind of weird left-hand turn, which she would have had to do if she had missed the ill-fated corner. If there is some corner up here that if she had gone straight and it dumped her directly into the Beanie Ravine, I don't know, I find that a little bit more plausible. It wouldn't involve taking a left-hand turn for no reason. Let's see what we see. All right, we are back up on the ridgeline. Again, we haven't come that far. That first of the right-hand turns, the one where the ground immediately becomes not trail-like, is just around this corner down a little bit. The ill-fated corner is, another 100 yards beyond that, in a S-curve. But we kind of have a right-hand turn-ish here. As the trail kind of bends this way. So right about where these rocks are, there's a sort of a right-hand turn. You'll see it better when I reach them and then turn around and look back. That might be a more interesting missed turn. Let's take a look when we get there. Okay, I've walked past that area. We're almost in view. I'll go a little bit further. Let's see how close we are to the, we still have a little ways to go before we get to the location of the last photograph. It's, up that ways. But this is what I wanted to show you. It's kind of a right-hand turn. And, of course, right now, it's, for me, that the trail is really obvious. But the obviousness of a trail can change a lot with conditions, shadows, time of day, how many people have hiked on it, and whether there was wind blowing pine needles. So it's plausible that she reached this area and instead of going right, she just went straight, kind of up past this pine tree, or maybe up there. Before I go up this way, I'm gonna just go look over here because I'm curious what you would see if you turned left here instead of going straight. I don't have any reason to believe she did that, but I'm just going to satisfy my own curiosity. So I'm walking along and I'm not quite sure where to go. Looks like a nice open area over here. Let's go this way and see what I see. Well, right now I'm walking across ground that's covered in pine needles, but there's areas further up the trail that are similar to this, where it's decomposed granite covered in pine needles. So this wouldn't be an immediate indication that she was going far astray. Oh wow, someone spelled out something with pine cones. 8647, and then a jumble of pine cones. I wonder what that signifies. Anybody have any idea what that means? I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to continue wandering this way just to see what I can see, and then I'm going to come back over to there and go straight instead of turning right, which is the way you're supposed to go. What do we have here? We got boulder piles. We have some dead pine trees, half dead, partially burned. Got a nice view looking into the city. Wow, this is a really pretty view. Yeah, boulder piles. wandering. I mean, I could keep going this way for a while, but I have no reason to believe she went this way. That is just a different, inexplicable left-hand turn. So I just wanted to see what it looked like. It's really pretty. Great views. It'd be a nice place to sit, take lunch if it was later in the day. So I'm going to head back and go straight at that one area instead of veering to the right. All right. Almost back to the trail. I'm going to go a little bit east again, approach that bend, but go straight instead of taking the bend to the right, and see what we see. All right. Oh, if anyone's curious, here's the bend. The number of pine cones are right over there. Anyway, so coming this way, hiker A is way ahead of me. And so I am missing this turn and going straight. I don't know if these trees were here when she missed the turn. I'm going to go around him. Again, we're now in a zone that doesn't feel very trail-like. It's got all these, I don't know, holes in it where animals were burrowing into the ground, perhaps. These could be new. These could have been here forever. But I'm going to keep going this way. Kind of wandering. I kind of want to wander this way. I'm kind of going straight towards the eastern flank or eastern bank of the Beanie ravine, approaching it from above. I'm going to veer this way. What do I see as I come through this little zone? I see a view mostly westward. Let's check the compass. What direction are we facing right now? And then you gotta pull up the compass. Where is my compass? Compass. What? We are not pointing mostly south. That's surprising. West. Okay. That's more like it. I don't know why at first. I probably needed to spin the phone around so it can reorient itself. Okay, that's more like it. That's straight west. And that's west, northwest. Which is what I thought it would be. So, anyways, I wasn't wrong. There must be something wrong with the compass. And there was something wrong with the compass. All right, working my way down this way. Mostly west, slightly north of west, depending on which direction I'm facing. And interesting, I'm back to the same spot. Okay, so right there is, where the heck is my pointer? Right there is the corner we were just previously exploring. If I zoom in enough, you can see the branch that marks the trail. So, and there is the spiky thing. So I'm just south of the first corner and further south, and of course still a bit east of the ill-fated corner. But now I'm above the Beanie ravine, ascending at it from a different angle, and I went straight to get to this spot. Didn't have to take any mysterious left turns. I'm turning left right now so I can get a better angle, a better view of things. All right, so basically I am really at the very, very top of the Beanie ravine, the headwaters, so to speak. Let's reorient ourselves. Spiky trunk, which means the ill-fated corner is just over there somewhere. And probably we don't have a good angle at it to view it. And yeah, there's the very top of the Beanie ravine. Earlier in this video I went down that way. In this video I'm going to continue this way and come down into the Beanie ravine from this direction. How do I want to get there? I might want to traverse a little bit around these boulders right here. I could either go this way around those boulders or that way. I'm going to go this way to the right of these boulders. As I come down this way, I'm thinking, again, why would anybody go this way? At least this way didn't involve an inexplicable left-hand turn. I went straight from that one bend, and I ended up in the same place you get to, more or less, from any of those other right-hand turns. But this way didn't involve going beyond the turn and then turning left. But it still involves going down a steep section that isn't a trail. And that's a nice pile of trees. All right, I'm gonna have to do some dirt slalom, dirt skiing. Get down this area. What does that look like? What kind of trail am I leaving behind? Definitely leaving disturbed ground. I don't know if you can see it, but there's definitely disturbed ground right here, but it isn't as, I mean, anybody who knows what to look for would see it, but it isn't, you know, someone who is more concerned with finding a person and not tracking footprints on the ground may overlook it, so that's interesting. And let's keep sliding down. And sliding down. I'm basically sliding right towards the pit stop boulder. I'm going to start angling over this way a little bit. Whoa! Turning sideways as you're going down a steep part of the hill is a little bit tricky. Now, I'm going to keep going straight down, because that's what gravity is asking me to do. I'm a lost hiker who was just trying to get down the hill. Now, it's possible she thinks she crested. When she crested this ridge here, she might be turned in her head 90 degrees. Oh, geez, I heard this thing. I thought it was a rattlesnake. It's just a pine cone. Oh, anyway, so, see, when she crested this ridge here, she may, in her internal compass, be off 90 degrees. This ridge line is basically kind of runs north-south right here. But if she thinks it runs east-west and she came over it this way, she might think she's on the north slope, which is where she wants to go. So she might think she's heading north instead of west. So that could explain why she continued in this direction, because she thought she was going north. And of course, if she were to look around, she would be able to figure out that it's not true. I'm assuming her phone ran out of battery and she can't check the compass, but off in that direction is Mount Wilson, which is not north of her location. So that is southwest of her location. So if she were thinking, oh, that's Mount Wilson and that's southwest, she would know that going downhill is going west. Or she could look off this direction and see the desert over there and know, oh, the desert's to the north. I really need to be going towards the desert. And that's how she could have oriented herself. But if she is not looking around and just focusing on keeping her balance as she goes down and is in a really focused state, she might not look around at this point. This is a good point to orient yourself. But if she doesn't look around right here and she continues further down, visual cues go away. You can't see them anymore. Anyways, let's continue skiing down this hill until I get to a little safer spot. Alright, I am back to where I was near the end of my part 2 video. That's the rock. I gotta tighten this thing here. That's the rock that I said would be a good private area for making a pit stop. Anyways, I'm going to continue down into the ravine from this direction instead of coming down from there and approaching it from the left. I suppose it's really approaching it from the right. And I'm going right down the guts of it from its very source. In case anybody's wondering, the ill-fated corner is just right up there. I'm just below the lip of it, but essentially, where's my pointer? It's right there. That's the ill-fated corner. Let's keep going down. So this time, as I go down into the ravine, I'm going to continue going down until I reach the Beanie area. And then, instead of continuing down the ravine like I did in my most recent ambient video, I'm going to see what it would look like if she had reached that Beanie area and said, I'm not going to go any further down the ravine. I want to try to find my way back up to the ridge. So she had two options for getting back up to the ridge. Just turn around and go back up the way she came, or go directly uphill from wherever she was. Not necessarily the exact route she took, but take a look around and say, oh, this is the most direct path up, and that would also be a possibility. Or she could say, I'm going to go sideways or laterally along the slope and kind of slowly work her way back up to the ridge line, like a sailboat tacking against the wind, instead of going the steepest route. So that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to see if you go west from the Beanie area, is there a somewhat safe looking path that goes along the contour of the hill westward that will eventually get you back to a trail. I mean, I know that there is a trail there. She may not know, but she may have decided to go that way simply because it was more appealing looking than turning and going straight up the steep part of the hill. So that's what I'm going to try. But first I need to get to the Beanie location. Let's orient ourselves. Let's see, where are we? The ill-fated corner is somewhere up there. You can just see the spiky trunk bits there, which puts the ill-fated corner right around in there. We came down, earlier in this video, we came down here and went right through these two boulders here. There's that tree thingy that pointed out, and a little further on is the tall dead tree that I was using as a landmark. So I'm going to go back towards that tall dead tree and continue in the direction of the Beanie boulder and the Beanie spot. See if I can find the Beanie Memorial. Anyways, that's what my plan is. Oh, and then I'm going to go west. All right. Let's just follow the Pinecone. Pinecone knows the way. The all-knowing Pinecone. The Pinecone is a traitor. Now we're back to where we were. Oh, there's a chipmunk. And there's my footprints. All right, you've seen this before. I'm going to stop filming until I get to the tall dead tree and then continue filming from there. All right, I am back at the tall dead tree. And now I want to find the Beanie Memorial, the Beanie spot, and the Beanie boulder, the Beanie Monolith. It's going to be somewhere further downhill and a little bit further west. So let's head that way. But before we do that, I just want to go right over to these boulders and just see what they look like. If someone were to attempt to go straight down the ravine in the same way water would flow, of course they would need to go this way, because this is the way the water would flow, and they would trickle their way through these boulders and continue on down. But that's a path I don't think anyone would take unless they really wanted to do some bouldering and some scrambling. So, but that's not what I think Monica's aim was that day, so let's not do that. Let's come back over here and go down on the flank of the ravine, what I will call the east flank. In my Down the Beanie Ravine ambient video, I was essentially going down the western flank. Now I'm going down the eastern flank. And it, it's steep, but it's not terrible. I don't feel like my life is in danger. I just feel like I need to be careful. And I'm going to get to the next safe stopping spot and check my GPS location and see where I am in relation to the Beanie Monolith and Beanie Memorial. As I continue down the eastern flank of the ravine. All right, let me stop and check it here. All right, where are we? We are 34, 34, 11, and I go to 117, 95, 59, or let's say 60. Where do we want to be? We want to be 3406, so we are still a little bit too far north. Getting close though. And let's see, we're at 9560. We want to be 9567. We want to go a little bit further west. And so that's our goal. Fortunately, the direction that we are heading, the ravine, goes further south and further west. So let's keep heading that way and we'll eventually get to where we want to be. All right, working our way down. I want to go over here just to see what there is to see. It's kind of a cool little boulder spot. Get another glimpse of the path the water would take. If water was flowing, water would be coming down right through here and head right down there. But anyways, back over here. Continue going down the flank. Not quite sure how much further west I need to go. I think I need to get on the other side of where the water flows, because I don't think the Beanie Monolith is on the eastern flank. I think it's on the western flank. Go that way, but then I would be right in the thick of all the boulders. I think I'm going to go a little bit this way and see what there is to see. How do I get there? I think we need to go this way. As with approaching the Beanie location from the west, approaching it from the east is still quite a lot of work. So, it's hard to imagine somebody coming down this way rapidly to plant the Beanie and then making their way back up the hill. But who knows, a very motivated person might do any number of things. Wow, it's starting to get a lot steeper. I gotta focus. Stop recording. Alright. It is definitely getting steeper. The further down the east flank I go. Definitely need to focus. What is this? It's a piece of pinecone. It's got these very bright red pinecone fragments, and sometimes it catches your eyes, red color, and you're thinking, what is that? All right. I got a whole bunch of boulders in my way. I wonder if it would have been better to go a little bit further over there. I'm going to work my way down through these boulders, and I'll meet you when I get to that little open area right there. All right, new plan. I'm going to not try to go over those boulders. I'm going to go back up a little bit and go around them on the east flank. I don't want to become another Mount Waterman statistic. I think I can come through here and avoid those boulders. You can see this spot right there. Somebody came through here, sliding sideways like I am. Another spot. Somebody was sliding. Somebody definitely have come down here. Searchers or somebody trying to find the Beanie spot. Satisfy the curiosity. Alright, that's where I was stuck among the boulders. And I'm be able to be past them, but it's steep. But safer, as long as I maintain my balance and not go head over heels. Let's go a little bit further and then check my location. Anyways, let's see where we're at. See how much further we need to go to get to the beanie spot. Where have we come from? Man, all that struggle and we haven't even come that far. There's the dead tree. All right, slow going. Okay, where are we? 3408. Oh, we're about as far south as we need to go. And 9564. Where do we want to be? 3486 and 9567. Oh, we are 994. We just need to go a little bit. Come on. Need to go a little bit west and maybe a smidge north. Like right over there. Really close. Came down just a smidgen too far. Sit back up. Turn west. To be to the left. Go across the ravine to the other side, and we'll be pretty darn close. Can I actually make it to the other side? Yeah, I can make it to the other side. I think go that way, up and around. Oof. We're back in the crack and crevice land. The boulders. They didn't feel safe climbing down. All right. I feel that open space is pretty darn close to where we want to be. Anyways, let's sneak through here. Now we're a little bit too north, but we seem to be a little bit too west. I'm going to go up over here and take a look around. Sideways on a steep hill. Alright. Where the hell are we? Where do we want to be? Oh, I see it. It's right there. Let me just come down this way and we will be there. I see it. So, we are above it. If I had kept going down over on the east flank, I probably would have run right into it. But by cutting over, I missed it. But now I see it. We probably are getting close to the Beanie Memorial. Gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. It's the Beanie Memorial. And it's on the eastern bank. I don't know. It'll be around here somewhere. I'll find it. It's near a fallen tree. It's lying over some boulders. How do I want to get there? It's too steep to go down that way. Oh, I think it might be the fallen tree. All right, I need to get over there. By the fallen tree, I mean this thing that's poking through. I need to get over there somehow. It might involve going down to the Beanie Monolith, which is right here. You can't see it that well because these dead branches are obscuring it. And then back up this way. All right. Let me figure out how to get there, and then I'll start recording again. All right. I'm going to try to sneak down through here. Just switch hands, lean against this dead tree. Step down. Reach over. Plant. Grab. Step down in. Almost slip. Grab. And there it is. The Beanie Monolith. I have to then get the rest of the way here. I have to do some more dirt skiing to get there. Yeehaw. Let's ski to the left because I want to get to the Beanie Memorial, which I'm pretty sure is up that way. So when I came here in my previous video, I came from, I don't know, up that way, down this way, or maybe from that way to this way. I just want to get down to that flat area and then make a plan. Okay. Oof. Huh. And that's possibly what Monica did too. After having come down that steep area, she may have decided to come right up against this boulder, vertical boulder, because there's a nice resting spot here. That's I'm going to take advantage of. But I think the Beanie Memorial is right there. I'm going to climb back up and take a look at it after I'm done with my break. All right, break time is over. There's the Beanie Monolith, as I call it. It's looking westward-ish. And it's looking back up the hill. There's the Beanie Memorial. Actually, if I can probably zoom in on it. I'm going to head up there, but yeah, it's the Beanie Memorial. I will head up there. But my original plan was to get to this spot and kind of go on the contour of the hill, not going up, not going down, because I know if I do that, I will eventually reach the West Ridge Use Trail. And before coming down here, I was thinking, well, maybe Monica reached this point and decided she was done going down the ravine, and which would have involved more of that. And she decided to go sideways. And I thought, well, if she went sideways along the hill, and that choice was a west-ish sidewaysness, she would eventually get to the West Ridge Use Trail, and maybe she thought that was the other trail, the one that she was on, and she would turn left and continue on it, thinking she was back on the trail, and that, in fact, she would be getting further and further away. However, having been sitting here, taking a break and looking around, it's like, it really doesn't look very appealing going that way. But if I look this way, it kind of looks more appealing if I wanted to go sideways, to go this way, off into that area. Because that is away from the boulders. Let me zoom in. branch is kind of in the way, but I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go east, southeast from the Beanie area instead of west, northwest. Because having been sitting here, like I said, that looks like a better direction to go if I did not want to go down anymore. It's just look this way again, yeah. If I had to decide one or the other, I would not go this way, which was my original plan. That looks unappealing. So, but first I'm going to go up to the Beanie Memorial and show you that. All right, I'm going to have to do some slip sliding upslope to get there. I'm not sure the best route. That is hard rock with gravel on it. Oh man, this certainly discourages going uphill. If you reach this spot, oh, you would not want to try to go back uphill, at least not in this direction. Oh, this is like the worst. This is gravel on top of rock. This is the worst combination. Oh, I gotta stop recording and figure this out. All right, well, that was a whole bunch of unpleasant. And it was just a few feet of that right here. This spot right here is solid rock with loose gravel over the top of it. And that is very, very slippery. And if you were to slip, you'd fall right into these boulders right here. All right, making my way up to the Beanie Memorial. Let's go this way. Okay, I can see it. What is some way to get to it? I have a feeling that this is not the normal way you get to it. Probably get to it coming down or over. But I missed the turn. Didn't follow. I should have just continued following the east flank of the ravine, and that would have led me here. But I kind of cut across that way and then came down here and was just yards away from it. Anyways, I'm gonna have to navigate up this little slot here. So stop recording until I get up here. All right, made it up that little area. And getting closer. It's probably close enough. Actually, to really see it, you want to stand right there and look that direction. Let's see, can I go up and around? I can go up and around. I'm really coming at this backwards. All right. Okay, made it. I had to come up this way, come around from behind. But here's the Beanie Memorial. The Monica's yoga friends made this. So the beanie was found not right where this memorial is, but close enough. I'm not sure why they put it exactly here. I'm not going to step over it. I'm going to knock it over. Let's go around this way. Yeah, if I had stayed on the eastern flank of the ravine, I probably would have come down this way and gotten to the Beanie Memorial from this direction. So there it is, the Beanie Memorial, and the what I am calling the Beanie Monolith is right there. Sorry, I took a break. So the hat was found somewhere between the memorial and the boulder that I'm calling the monolith. Let me see how I can get to it from this direction. Let's head back over here a little bit. So There's the center of the ravine. Water would have flowed down through here. There's the memorial again. There's that. What do I see if I stand on this boulder? I think I will go up just a little further, come around this way, and I can get safely over there. Well, somewhat safely. Still got to go across that treacherous part that is sand on top of rock. I don't think I'm going to go that far. I do not want to go across that section there again. So maybe come down through here. Maybe Monica came down through here and went down this way and lost her beanie somewhere around here, and saw that rock. Looked like a good resting spot. Stopped there, took a break, decided what to do, and from there, who knows? I mean, we don't even know if she stopped and took a break, but it seems like a natural thing to do. Having sat there and stopped and taken a break, for me, the obvious thing to do would be to go this direction, not down further or not that way. So that's what I'm going to do, but I have to get down there first. So, up and around. Any of this look familiar? Is that the tall tree? Is that the tall dead tree? Have I been this close, just circling around all this time? I kind of think so. I think these boulders here are the ones I was on top of and didn't feel safe clambering down. And I said, I'll meet you by that dead tree thing, and that was this guy right here. And I, instead of coming through this way, which would have taken me right to the memorial, which is right over there, right there, I went that way, behind this bush, over there, and then I had to come down upon the Beanie Monolith from the north. So anyways, now I'm coming down this way. I think I am back on track, well, more maybe simulating what Monica did. And this is now in the direction of the Beanie Monolith without having to come at it from a weird angle. And there it is in front of us. Looking like a very promising spot to take a break. I can see disturbed ground from when other people came through here. Oh, look at this. Yeah, very nice, fresh pinecone embedded in the ground. Almost like it wants to grow there. A new tree there someday. Okay, making my way down the Mount Waterman ski area, dirt skiing. Okay, I've gotten this far. Now I am eager to reach that nice resting spot. Let's go this way. There's the Beanie Memorial, just to orient ourselves. We had some dead trees, dead branches. Now let's see. I don't know if this is a good way to go or not. Yeah. All right, well, this is as far as I want to go right now, because now I'm going to turn and head over there. See that nice green grass over there? And it's very inviting, safe looking direction to go. So I'm going to do that. But I got to update my wife with my new plan. I told her I was going to go this way. But use my Garmin to tell her I'm going this way. Of course, I got tracking on, so they'll be able to find me if I don't check in. It's interesting when you look at the Beanie Monolith from this angle, you can see it's kind of sheer right there. It just kind of drops off. Water comes tumbling through these boulders and goes just to the left of the Beanie Monolith. Continues on down that way. Anyways, I'm going to start heading in that direction. A very inviting green grass and open area. Okay, message sent to my wife with the updated plans. Now I'm going to head this direction. It kind of feels like I'm going east, but when I looked at the compass, I'm actually going south, because this ravine goes on a diagonal. It doesn't go straight south. It goes southwest. So going this way means going south. And maybe she went this way, because it certainly was a lot more appealing direction to go than further down the ravine or west. You can see some other people went this way. Oh, here's a good shot of the east side of the Beanie Monolith. Okay, pine needles, loose dirt on top of rock. Alright. Where's that nice looking green patch of meadowy thing? It's over here. I want it. It's calling to me. Obviously, look around. I always look around while I'm doing these videos to see if I see anything. This area has been heavily searched, so it's unlikely I would stumble upon something, but you never know. There are lots of cracks and crevices she could have gone into, and then the storms in December may have flushed something out and is now lying in view. It wasn't before. This is fairly steep. Which direction do I want to go? Kind of want to go this way. So if I slip and slide, at least I will fall against this tree trunk. Okay. Oh, somebody came this way. Let's see the footprints. Disturb the ground. Don't get excited when I say somebody came this way. Obviously, lots of searchers and other people are combing these slopes. I am almost certainly seeing the footprints of a searcher. Alright, making my way over there. Almost to the green area, which looks so inviting. Now I know, because I know the area, if I just continue going south, I will eventually reach the 3 Points Trail, which is what it's commonly known, but I think it's officially known as Mount Waterman number 1. And I would be approaching it from above. It's just like you would if you continued down the ravine, but I would be hitting it much further east than if I continued to ravine, because the ravine is going to continue southwest and get further off in that direction, or this way, almost directly south, slightly east, but mostly south. So I'll be getting further and further away from the ravine. But yeah, this is a much nicer way to go. It's still steep, but if I was a lost hiker and I had spent all that time getting down to the Beanie Monolith, I would have been seeing this little area over here thinking I would rather go that direction than up or west or further down the ravine. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go over to this nice shady area over here. That looks like a nice spot to look at. Look around, maybe get some bearings. Take another break. This time, if I'm Monica, I would probably realize I'm thoroughly turned around, not where I should be. But this looks a lot more like where I was before I got into that ravine. So maybe I think I'm getting closer to where I used to be. And if she had gotten all turned around when she first came over that ridge, that I said she could have confused as the ridge she was on, she might still think she's going the right way. Although, all she needs to know, if she gets here, all she would need to do is look up and know that she has not been going the right way. Because, they had a fairly clear day from the photographs. And, I have a similar day. It's clear up here, certainly in the hills, mountains. And I can see Mount Wilson, and I could see Mount Wilson in their picture, in their photographs too. So, had she gotten this far and rested, she could have looked out and seen Mount Wilson, and hopefully, as a scientist, know that Mount Wilson was to the south. Anyways, I want to see what I'm not going to continue this way because now I'm back into boulder land. I want to continue kind of going this way, following the side of the hill where all this green grass is growing, and maybe kind of go down this way. I'm now operating on the theory that she thought she was somehow, inexplicably, thought she was on the north flank instead of the south flank, because she was panicking now, kind of had tunnel vision, wasn't looking up, wasn't looking around, didn't notice Mount Wilson. I think in her pictures, as it is right now, the city is kind of covered in marine layer. It's still early enough in the morning. It's maybe 10:30 my time right now. I'll have to look at that. Well, let's look. I got my other phone. What time is it? Oh, I'm off by an hour. 11:24. So I've been taking breaks and going different routes. She would have reached this spot if she had reached this spot. She would have reached it sooner. But more likely still that marine layer would still be covering the city. So all that is to say, you can't look out and you won't see the city. You'll just see clouds. But she certainly would have seen Mount Wilson if she had looked and if she'd known what she was looking at. I'm going to go back up and continue going along the flank of the slope, south and southeast, as if I was a lost hiker and was trying to find an easy way to go, not going down over a boulder-strewn ravine or westward across a boulder-strewn slope. And anyways, back up here. Okay, I'm back to the pleasant green area. came from that direction. And then I got sidetracked by these boulders. Let's resume what I was originally planning to do, which was continue along the flank of the slope in this general direction, and whatever looks the most pleasant way to go. Eventually I had to turn around and head back up. I'll keep going this way for a while. Having come through that green grassy area, I feel like I'm approaching another area that's just bouldery and steep. This might have been a direction that ultimately would have been unwise, but it certainly was more appealing looking when I was sitting at the Beanie Monolith. Yeah, getting steeper. Still drawn to the grassy area, but the grassy area is getting steeper. I don't know. This is July 22nd, exactly a year and a month after Monica went missing. Or more importantly, a month season-wise after the month in which she went missing. I don't know how much of this grassiness existed. It all depends on when the rains came, if they came. Oh, look at this. There's a trail here. Oh my goodness. There's a trail that comes right along here and goes this way. It's not, I can't believe it's the 3 Points Mount Waterman Trail, but let me look at them. I'm going into the shade and look at my map. Have I actually reached the 3 Points Mount Waterman Trail, or is this a hitherto unknown use trail? All right, be right back. Okay, here I am, and this dashed line here is the 3 Points Mount Waterman Trail, and so I'm not there. So this trail that I have just stumbled upon is some unnamed use trail. I'm going to go along this use trail and to see where it goes. I can see it continuing on after I get over these boulders. This is a fun discovery. And I wonder if Monica, if she had come this way, because of the appealing grassy area, encountered this unnamed, unlabeled, unmapped use trail, and doing what I'm doing right now. I suppose I should look around. Big old jet flying overhead right now. And can I see it continues to go down that way? Somebody pushing up a bunch of dirt right here as they were trying to navigate around. Where does this go? Okay, turn on the four-wheel drive. All right, and keeps going. I have a feeling if I keep going this way, I will go below the area where the last photograph was taken. But we'll see. Depends on whether this angle's up or angle's down. Certainly it's steep right here. Alright. Time to pay attention and focus. Alright, that was more tricky than I want it to be, so I'm going to put on my micro spikes and stop being a lost hiker and cheat with micro spikes. Alright, got my micro spikes on. I feel a little bit more confident. I don't want to become another Mount Waterman statistic. Did I already say that? Well, it's still true. Alright, still following this used trail. I'm gonna wait for that jet to stop flying over. Okay, jet is passed. Is this a trail that searchers made? Or is it a animal path? And I think I see human footprints now and then, or tennis shoe footprints. It's hard to say, but it is definitely a trail, used trail obviously. And this is the section that is really nice to have spikes on. Let's take a look around. Can see anything. Let's come back over here. Take a look. We are kind of right between the ridge line and the 3 Points Mount Waterman Trail, otherwise known as Mount Waterman 1. I'm just going along the flank of the slope. Don't seem to be gaining much in altitude, elevation I should say. Don't seem to be going down much either. Shady spot. Ooh, there's some pretty wildflowers up ahead. Let's check them out. Well, using my psychology, I still think this is a plausible path for anyone who made it as far as the Beanie Monolith and started looking around, trying to decide what to do next. If they had followed the green grass to the south-southeast, they would eventually meet up with this used trail, and any trail is better than no trail. These flowers are a little bit past their prime. You see these when there's a lot of groundwater seeping out, so there may be a spring that has just dried up. It's a little bit further up the hill. To get up to that shade, I'm going to take a look at the map and try to figure out where this might end up, because we're kind of going parallel to the 3 Points Trail. Alright, shadiness. Let's see what AllTrails has to say. Alright, so you can see that straight line heading southeast. That's where we are. We're kind of almost coming along that contour line. What does it say? I have to zoom in. Please stand by. The 7,054 elevation contour line, paralleling that. And if we keep paralleling that, we eventually get closer and closer to the 3 Points Trail, as you can see. But much further east than where the Beanie ravine leaves you, which is kind of in the W or M, depending on how you look at it, area right there. So yeah, we would come out onto the 3 Points Trail much further east if we keep following this. I could explain why they didn't find her in that initial search. They were probably searching down the ravine and along the Upper West Trail, back up towards the summit just to cover that base, and down the north slopes and along the West Ridge Youth Trail. It's unlikely that they sent somebody down here to this Youth Trail and then came east on it in those initial hours. The other interesting thing about if Monica went this way is, and let's say she met up with the 3 Points Trail and continued going in the same direction we are going now, that would take her towards the Twin Peaks saddle, and that is where a couple of hikers reported hearing what sounded like a woman crying out in anguish. Now, some people think, well, that was just like a fox or a mountain lion. Others are saying, well, it could be her. We need to search more over there. There was some searching down there, but not as much as below the Beanie area. People kept saying, well, why the heck would she go east towards 3 Points? Towards the Twin Peaks saddle. Well, that might answer that. She found this Youth Trail, turned left on it, thinking maybe that's the right way to go. And it just kept taking her further and further east, and then she found the 3 Points Trail, and she kept going in that direction, and ended up getting into trouble over near the Twin Peaks saddle. Alright, we'll definitely need to search that area. It's hard to get to that area, it's long. Because of the road closures, you have to start at 3 Points. It's just a 6-mile hike just to get to the saddle. And then you got to do your search, and then it's 6 miles back out. So it is a minimum 12-mile day. I have a ambient video of going down to the saddle and down a little ways into the Devil's Canyon. That was a long day. Anyways, let's take a look around. This is a nice trail. Look ahead of us. It's like fairly open, but the trail, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it's still pretty obvious where the trail is. So I'm gonna keep going. Now I have to decide how far I want to go this direction. I still have about 1.5 liters of water, and I don't want to out-hike my water. So at some point I'll have to turn around, or what I'll probably do is head upslope, because I know the Upper West Ridge Trail is upslope, and then head back on that trail. Some more pretty flowers. This might be a good spot to maybe start heading upslope. Always want to keep some water in reserve. I'm going to go over to that tree right there, look over the hill, see where I'm at, and then start heading upslope back to the Upper West Ridge Trail and call it a day. Definitely don't need micro spikes on this part of the trail. I will be happy to have them when I start going up slope. Oh, it'll make my life a lot easier. Okay, I'm still on the use trail. This trail is taking me to that pine tree, tall redwood. I think it's a redwood. I don't know my trees. Somebody in the comments will correct me, of course. I just want to look around. It's such a beautiful area. Right. What is there to see? I'm gonna curl around this tree over here so we can see down the slope on this side. All right. Hey, there it is. Pretty darn sure that is, well, I can't see it when I'm zooming in. The upper west, oh, there it is. I think that's the 3 Points Trail, aka Mount Waterman #1. Let's look on the map, see if that's true. Okay, it's too sunny, can't see. Let's find some shade, let's make some shade. Okay, if you can tell, now I got my back to what we were looking at, but if you mentally turn the arrow around, you'll see that yes, indeed, we were looking right at the 3 Points Trail. And just continue that direction, and you would hit it, and if you turned, well, to your left, if you're facing down, facing that way, and go that way, which is kind of continuing the direction we've been going. That's the direction of the Twin Peaks saddle. In fact, the Twin Peaks themselves are right there. That's one of the Twin Peaks. Anyways, new theory. Well, time for me to go up that slope. It will eventually hit the Upper West Ridge Trail. And anyways, I'll see you when I get there. Well, I'm almost back to the ridge. If my vocals sound different, that's because I don't have the DJI mic on anymore. I'm just talking into the phone's mic. Anyways, kind of by coincidence and a little bit by design, I'm reaching the ridge right about the same area where we saw those pine cones in the shape of number. I will show that to you again when I get there. Not there yet. It is after noon, like 12:30 or something right now. It's getting pretty warm. Glad I'm ending this hike when I am. Otherwise, it'll be very warm. I got up at 4:30 in order to get here in a reasonable hour. And it takes a while to get ready in the morning. It takes an hour and a half to drive to get here. So I got on the trail about 7:20. It's not a long day for hiking, but it certainly is a tough day. A lot of difficult ground, but so beautiful. Somewhere up here is where the pine cones are in the shape of numbers. Just gotta find it again. Okay, there's the trail. That's the that's the trail, Upper West Ridge Trail. That's actually right about where I said, well, if you go straight or veer left, you'll do stuff. That means the pine cones are out here somewhere. Oh, this is the pine tree I went past when I said, well, what if you went straight? Ish. That means the pine cones are on the other side of this boulder pile. Oh, there they are. I see them. All right. We've officially come full circle. If only I knew what 8647 meant. Anyways, time to head back to the car. Call it a day.